Hey everybody, it's Friday. Happy Friday, June 6th, and we are doing a recap of the 2025 Spring Tournament. It is finished. We are done with the tournament. Thank you all for playing, participating, or even just checking it out. Happy to see everybody in chat. It looks a little different on my screen right now. That's because we're just going to be looking at stuff. And this is, I think, my first stream without a camera involved for the game. So I have my keyboard and mouse in front of me, directly in front of me where my game would be, which feels very strange. But what we're going to do today is we are going to go over what are we going to do? I just forgot what we're going to do. Oh yeah, we're going to give away some stuff. We got some prizes to give away for anybody who participated in all 7 weeks of the tournament. We're going to be going over the top setups of the tournament and talking about how I put those together and what your comments were and why those turned out the way they were. And then we are also going to give some special just for fun awards for things like most bystanders rescued and most villains escaped, etc. Should be a good time. Real quick, I did put up the post-tournament survey. About 40 of you have responded to it already. I'm putting it in chat right now. If you feel like responding to that, it helps make the events even better for next time. So consider filling that out if you participated in the event. Let's go ahead and check and see if my web browser is working. Looking at our final rankings of the tournament. Once again, congratulations to Chuck Bauer and Micro Disney 0505 at 3rd place, Doomfollow at 2nd place, and our tournament champions for the spring 2025 were the Milkman and Snap City 57 with a total of 63 points. Congratulations, and thank you everyone for playing. It was a blast to run this for you guys. I'm happy to see you guys here, and we're going to talk about it. So, thank you for all the subs. I'm going to thank you guys individually in just a moment. But first, I think we should start by doing our very first giveaway. What do you say? So here's how we're going to do the giveaways this time around. What we're going to do is, for the expansions and sets, which were generously donated by members of the community and Upper Deck, who have donated some sets, I have put together wheels for each individual set based on who does not own the set. And then I have some promos and other things to give away to everybody who played all 7 weeks of the tournament. In the future, all you gotta do is play 7 weeks of the tournament, and then you're entered to win. That's it. Wow! Thank you for all the subs coming in. Where are we? Okay, let's go ahead and give away. I have some sets to give away. Let's start with one of the sets from Upper Deck. So Upper Deck very generously donated some sets. Thank you, Fredo, and everybody else there, and they will ship them right to you. Very cool that they support this little event we run here, so it's really appreciated by all of us. This one, and by the way, for expansions and sets, some of these can go anywhere in the world. Like the Upper Deck sets can go anywhere. Some of them might have to require you to chat with the donator if you're living overseas, and if you don't want to accept it, we'll roll something else for you. Just let me know in the DMs. But let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if this works. Yep, there it is. So here's everybody who does not own What If and also played all 7 weeks of the tournament. I have no idea why you can't use your Prime sub till later this month. Maybe it was used earlier. I don't know. So I'm gonna spin for. They have 2 What If sets to give away. So I'm gonna spin for the first What If set from Upper Deck, and we'll see who gets this set. Thank you for playing all 7 weeks of the tournament. Here we go. All right, and this is going to Joe Bro 6616. Congratulations, Joe Bro. You have won a copy of What If. Super cool. Thank you so much, Fredo and Upper Deck. This is pretty cool. So there you go. We're moving on to talk about some of the setups, and I'll be giving away more stuff as we go along. Oh, I also have one more set to give away. We have a copy of Fantastic Four, also from Upper Deck. I'm not spinning for that one because there was only one person who played all 7 weeks who did not own Fantastic Four, and that was Swaggalus. So Swaggalus, you have by default won a copy of Fantastic Four. Congratulations. We'll get that out to you as well. And I'll message you guys to collect, to put you on the right path. Don't worry, I have some spins that aren't sets that'll go to anybody. So just hang tight. Just be patient here. Okay, let's talk about these setups from this week. I've put them all together on a big list. Do you guys want to see the most fun or the least fun first? I'll ask you guys. And then I'll show you. We'll go over like the bottom 5 least fun and the top 10 most fun in order. It'll be a good time. While you guys are telling me that, let me go ahead and do this actually. This will be fun. Oh, least. Bad news first, Lisa. All right, we'll do the bottom 5 least fun setups, and most of these are my designs, so this is on me. But it'll be fun to talk about why they were the least fun setups. We'll do the bottom 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So here we go. This was just above the bottom 5. It's actually a bottom 6 because there was a tie. So pod 89, or pod 25 was rank 89. It was Mama Had a Mad Dream. It was Maximus the Mad and War for the Dream Dimension. It only got a fun rating of 2.82 out of 5, which makes it an okay setup. Some of the comments here, by the way, it was very fast. So my design for this one was, I wanted to, War for the Dream Dimension is a very popular scheme. I wanted to give you that one. It lets you use the astral plane with villain groups that don't normally get to use it. And then we had a Maximus the Mad who reused this as Master Strikes. And so my strategy was, alright, so maybe the Inhuman Rebellion, if you get them into the Dream Dimension, they can't use Abomination. That'll be fun. Killmonger's League involves a lot of wounding, and that can help with the drawing you can get from things like Prey. And then we've got Sinister Six, which is also pretty fun. And I think the mistake I made here were the heroes. I don't think they worked very well together. I tried to give things that will let you plug in some other stuff here. So we had the Ancient One, who uses the Astral Plane and Recruit, Gorgon, who goes off of Abomination, gets a lot of attack, and Queen Storm, who moves things around in the city and wants ranged and covert. So if you look over here, I have sorted the comments by most fun to least fun. So down here we have 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3 out of 5 over here. And then we've got just an unfortunate shuffle here. Zorotalk really didn't like how Killmonger's League works in the Astral Plane. I did that on purpose, but I guess it didn't work very well in practice. A brutal game, struggled with HQ management. Sean D, though, did like the Mastermind Scheme and Villain combo. I like the included heroes in theory, but both the times I felt like the HQ was controlling me a bit. So yeah, I think that was the detriment of this one. Not all the heavy lifting was done by deck. Wanted to let some escapes happen so I could hit strikes at the Mastermind. So I think my bad was with the hero deck. I think with a different sort of hero spread, things will be a little bit different. All right, let's go actually look at our bottom 6. So going down 1, we have a tie between Shatterstars and Super Yuriko Prayers 2, The Lost Levels. And if you have questions for me about how these are put together or anything, let me know. This was pod 31. Got a 2.80, which is an okay rating. Exodus pulls reality into the negative zone. I actually played this one as one of the setups I was able to stream, and the one you voted for me to play. I had a lot of fun with it, but mostly because I got a crazy Iceman combo to work. But if that doesn't work, you know, Exodus is one of the toughest masterminds in general. You have to build up a lot of Recruit in order to hit him, and then pull reality into the negative zone makes you use Recruit for other things. And if you're using Exodus and the pull reality, you're going to run out of Recruit to shatter him and then hit him. In order to use Recruit to shatter and hit him, that's a lot of Recruit. It's hard to get. I totally understand that. And you need more shattering for the Acolytes as well. The 1 out of 5s, I got 2 1 out of 5s, and Mango Steak really hated every second of both games. Couldn't get any synergy going. And Strong Guy kind of clogged things up. Again, I think the heroes were a problem here. For example, Iceman I gave you. He's a strong hero, but Strong Guy's got all strength. Coulson uses shield stuff, and the classes don't really match. So I think that was another contributor there. OCS 333 just hated the scheme so much. Exodus and especially the Acolytes made it more brutal, especially some early wounds. And second game had no nice moments, just the usual struggle and anguish associated with this bull scheme, and a very unfriendly marketplace and lack of henchman villains. Reading the chat, Bam Limited says, throughout the 7 weeks, I've thought a lot about what things affect my fun level. I had a lot of losses, but learned that winning doesn't always equal fun. Yeah, a lot of losses ranked very, very high. So just how much fun you had with the game. And John Sebastian Genevieve did Bishop and Iceman combo. Didn't really get the Iceman turn, which I guess is a big contributor to the fun level. And I'll move down a little bit real quick to Super Yuriko Prayers 2, The Lost Levels. I hope you like that reference there. So I did give you Epic Lady Deathstrike in this one. I think if I gave you Standard Lady Deathstrike, it would have been a little bit more fun. But Epic Lady Deathstrike is actually easier than a lot of standard masterminds, so I thought that would fit well with the difficulty. Because Hidden Heart of Darkness is a scheme that can end very, very early. If you don't see any of the tactics in the city, you can just hit the mastermind and win. So that's kind of why I wanted to actually give a little bit of a difficulty curve. But looks like the lack of fun was complicated and hard to play. Don't find Prey fun. Very shuffle dependent, very tricky. It is shuffle dependent because of those tactics. And minus points for Epic. Second game had 3 tactics for a single twist, so that's my bad on that one. I should have just done the standard. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I've always find close games fun. They aren't close if they are sometimes lost. That's true. Let's go down to our, I think our third, where was that? Oh, that was number 5. 5. Yeah, this is our third worst setup of the tournament. I think. Or fourth or third. I've lost track. Anyway, we'll get there. So Modoc Operandi, a title I was very proud of, but I guess a setup I should not be proud of. We had Modoc and Secret Hydra Corruption, Open Hydra Revolution. This masterminding scheme are similar in that you flip them, they transform, and you have to spend recruit or attack depending on what side is up. And I thought that combination would be fun, but it turns out that's not the case. Got a hot mess comment down here. Mango Strike never liked Modoc, and the contributor to the low score was consecutive weeks of recruit and attack swap shenanigans. And the scheme twist hurt Joe Bro. Winged Crusader said, I suck at this game. I don't know if it was heroes selected or gameplay or both. I recommend you guys do not be so hard on yourself. These setups can be really tough like this one. Please don't be hard on yourself. Also, there's a lot of randomness in the game too. And 2 losses for Mike H. Legendary here. Really enjoy playing the setup outside of the scheme, said Owen Meany, and Owen's better half. Just really felt like it got in the way of the fun parts of the game, like recruiting powerful heroes and fighting bad guys. And they did win with Deathlock and Phil Coulson deck, but still didn't have that much fun with it, which is a problem. Top 3 here did have a good time with Mockingbird, but overall there were some struggles here. Reading Evil Space Cow in the comments here. I played with my son 10 and more on for his thoughts. For some, I don't think this scheme affected his thoughts others a lot. I think he enjoyed playing with some of the heroes more. Totally fair, totally makes sense. Moving down to HOA violations. I think it's our bottom 3. This is our third. Worst setup of the game, of the tournament, unfortunately, for Red John, who did design this setup. I thought it would be fun when I was working on this setup with him. So we had Omega Red and Sneak Attack the heroes' homes, and Evil Deadpool Corpse here with Weapon Plus. I think a big contributor to this, reading the comments, is just people don't like Omega Red. I think he's a really fun mastermind, but I guess combined with just a little bit extra wounds, he can be really, really rough. And looks like there's a lot of comments here. So Just Titania at the beginning just said the combination of scheme and mastermind was nasty. The scheme with Omega Red as the mastermind was a pretty sadistic combination. The only reason it wasn't a 1 because I liked the mechanic of the starting cards being changed with adding some heroes. This scenario was a beating. It was not bad, but impossible to get a good deck flow because of all the wounds. Uphill fight, very challenging with all the wounds. Strong Guy was picked to cancel the wounds, and that worked out for the people at the top. But yeah, a lot of wounds with Omega Red. The way he handles those can be really, really tough. Moving on to our bottom 2. Our second worst setup of the tournament, according to you guys, was you wouldn't download a graveyard. Yes, he is very rough. I gotta keep that in mind going forward if people are gonna use him in a setup. So this was Grim Reaper pulling reality into cyberspace. Now I put these 2 together because I thought that's a fun combination. We're gonna have a ton of locations in the city, and we're gonna have stuff marked over the city as well. So we have locations and also locations within cyberspace, really changing how you manage the city there. I also gave you villainous weapons in order to make those things in there a bit stronger. And I gave you Crystal, Ravage, and Valkyrie. 3 heroes I thought are good. Crystal and Ravage are popular. Valkyrie is also somewhat popular. But let's see how this went. A lot of 1 out of 5. So Broken Pants said, and the interesting thing here was, I think there was just too much management. I did not think of the logistics, so I wanted to put as much interesting stuff in here. And I think I did too much, putting too many mechanics in here that I did not expect. So Broken Pants said, oof, too much energy focused on tracking. I didn't have the brain power to focus on playing efficiently. Legitimately my least favorite game of Legendary I've ever played. Trav John said the first game was a complete slog. I'm glad I don't have to play that setup again. Didn't expect it to be so difficult. Scoot said, hated this scenario. Once the schemes twist start building up, it was impossible to recruit any heroes and keep the villains off the board never again. Not a lot of freedom from choosing things. Too many things to keep track of at the same time. And took a while to build up. And that seemed to be the theme of why this was disliked. Too much to keep track of, which I will keep in mind going forward. I didn't even think of that. That got a bad, by the way, 2.5. Believe it or not, there was a setup worse than this one. And I apologize if you were in this next setup. The worst setup of the entire tournament was my design, so my bad for that one. But let's talk about it. Let's do some setup designing class here. It was Looting and Polluting is Not the Way, which was Poison Thanos and Befoul Earth into a Polluted Wasteland. And full disclosure, the reason why I put this together in the first place was, hey, poison and poison. That'll be fun. I didn't just leave it there. I did look into it, and I thought, okay, so Poison Thanos is very tough. That is true. And the false Acer can be really tough. I did give you Sentinel for that KO. The scheme is tricky as well, dealing with that HQ. And I gave you 3 Spider-Mans, Venomized Doctor Strange. I even gave you plenty of things if you wanted to build that 2-cost deck. But that wasn't enough. And the main culprit, the scheme is not super favored, but it was Poison Thanos. Poison Thanos is just really... He's not the hardest mastermind, but I think he's one of the most dislikes to fight against, just the way he works. So let me just read some of these. Cubby's Next Junior and Wife said, look at all the 1 out of 5s, 2 out of 5s. It was hard. The stupid Master Strikes kept sucking out my heroes, and because Loki stuck some back in, we ended up playing 7 Master Strikes. And then just to make it even more difficult, the Uber weapons combined with villains trying to symbiote bond, it was too much. Fought the Mastermind only once, and of course he had some armor bonded to him, so we never even beat a tactic. Ugh. Thank you for the water. Evil Space Con, I'm so sorry. Alright. Poison Thanos is always so frustrating, and the armor makes him worse. The scheme got us every time, though. We tried using the false Acer to banish twists and strikes to the bottom of the deck, but the game always ended before we felt like we had a good fight. And Corey G said, absolutely brutal. Poison Thanos is so tough with no gimmicks to fight him. And Evil Space Cow said, just struggled to build up damage to damage him and control locations. Probably needed a better way to KO more cards. I guess the Sentinels weren't enough, needed some more KO in there. J-Dub said, if I never have to play against Poison Thanos again, I'll be okay. I played my first game, and unfortunately, and gave him +1 attack for every poison soul instead of the cost. Second game, I was able to do a little more, and luckily, that was able to finish him off. So yeah, rules mistakes will make it even worse. Red John says, Poison Thanos is a no joke. Poison Thanos is challenging, and the top scores only got up to a 4. Real Daniel had a good time with the spider power, but didn't really get there that fast. And Chuck Bauer and David H had some good luck. Said it was much harder than he expected. But yeah, this is the worst setup of the entire tournament. If anybody wants to play this and make sure that's correct, feel free, but I do not think you need to. So I hope you guys enjoyed that overview. I'll be going over the top 10 setups of the tournament as well. But let's give some more stuff away and do some other things. Real quick, I want to thank a few folks who I saw a lot of things come in. A lot of stuff happened. So where did that go? I've lost it. Activity feed. Oh, I got an alert. Close. So real quick, I got a couple thank yous to do right now. Montax, thank you so much for the Prime sub. 42 months. I really appreciate that. Rio Firestar says, post-tournament hype. 14 months with a Prime sub. Thank you very, very much. Blade Omicron, thank you for the Prime sub. Captain Matrotic, thank you for 20 months with the Prime sub as well. Jigglyus Puff, 10 months with a Prime sub. Thank you. Snash108, 35 months with a Prime sub. Evil Space Cow, 2 months with a Prime sub. Bic with 17 months with a Prime sub. 8 Manga with 4 months with a Prime sub. Thank you all. Thank you for deciding to use your Prime subs on me, even though you can't even see my cards right now, because that's not what I'm doing here. I appreciate you all. Very, very kind. Let's go ahead and do some more giveaways here. Let's do a general giveaway. One that isn't set related. So here we go. I'm gonna pop this open. This should be everybody who played all 7 weeks of the tournament. I'm going to spin. So Kyla has generously donated 3 Gen Con 2024 lanyards. And I'm going to spin for these lanyards right now. Let's go ahead and see who gets what. By the way, I will be removing your name once you win something. And there are some promos coming up, but here are the lanyards first. Let's go ahead and spin. Here we go. First lanyard from Kyla is going to JB007. You wear it and it's got cool legendary stuff on it. By the way, if you already have one of these lanyards and you went to Gen Con 2024, please let me know. All right, second lanyard is going to Blade Omicron. Blade Omicron, you get a 2024 Gen Con legendary lanyard. You can't really get them anywhere else, and they're pretty cool. Lanyard gives you better villain deck shuffles, confirmed. All right, and the third lanyard is going to... Again, thank you all for playing all 7 weeks of the event. Hendrick. Hendrick gets the third lanyard. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do one more thing. I want to give away one more set. We'll do one. Speaking of, since Kyla has all these sets, I'm going to give away another one of the ones that Kyla has. And I want to give away a copy of Ant-Man. So this copy of Ant-Man is going to somebody who doesn't own it, who played all 7 weeks of the tournament. This is a really fun set. I think it's going to rank pretty high when all is said and done with our ratings. Both Masterminds people think are pretty fun. Morgan Le Fay can be a little frustrating, but people love using Ant-Man and the heroes in this. If you don't have this, you're going to have a great time with it. Let's see who's winning the Ant-Man set from Kyla. Here we go. Ant-Man is going to... Okay, Blade Omicron, you already won a prize, so I'm going to spin again. That's what I'm going to do the whole time. It's going to Will the Grey. Will the Grey wins a copy of Ant-Man. So congratulations, Will the Grey. And that's it for Ant-Man. Science teaching is so much fun. And this one isn't out of print. If you want to pick this up, pick it up. It's a great set. I highly recommend it. All right. So that's it for now. Yeah, get a lottery ticket, right? And that was the only copy of Ant-Man I have today. All right. Let's go over some more things. Do you guys want to do... I'll let you tell me. Do you want to do these? The fun awards? Or do you want to start with the top 10 highest rated setups? We can do some of these. This will be fun. Which one do you want to know? So what I did was I went through all the stats. I compiled everybody's results, and I put these together. And oh, you want to know most perfectly balanced? Let's do a couple. We'll do a couple of these. I can mix it up. It's fun. We're a variety show today. All right. So I'll do one of these, and then we'll move on to the top 10. We'll jump around. So I'm actually going to start with the greatest savior. Let's see who collected the most bystanders. Now, these are for fun. A lot of these will be based on the setups that you actually got. But we're going to look at the top 5 most bystanders rescued out of everybody who played in the entire tournament. Here we go. In 5th place for greatest savior is Bronson the Lighthouse, who rescued 122 bystanders over the course of this entire event. So well done there. Thank you for saving the people. 4th place. Thanks so much, Fredo, and thank you so much for the donations. We're going to give away the rest of them over the course of the stream. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. All right, 4th place. 4th most bystanders rescued goes to Brent Campbell and Ruhaku with 123 bystanders rescued. 3rd place for our greatest savior, 3rd greatest savior, is J-Dub with 124 bystanders rescued across all of the games. And that's only 3rd place, 4th place, 3rd place. 2nd place, most bystanders rescued, goes to Nuke and Foobs and Nemesis with 127 bystanders combined rescued across the entire tournament. And then our 1st place, our greatest savior of the entire tournament, is Real Danelle with 129 bystanders rescued. Thank you for doing the real job of a hero and saving as many people as you could. Well done, everybody. There's our greatest savior, Real Danelle, right there. Ka-ching. Let's jump back around. Let's go ahead and look at more setups. And then we'll do another award here and some giveaways. It'll be fun. I have a lot to say about these top 10. So let me go up to the top 10 setups. A lot of runner-ups. I'm going to post the full list later on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. The full list is going to be posted later on. And I lied a little bit. I'm actually starting with number 11. There's a reason for that. Here is setup number 11. Is Do I Hear Wedding Bugs? There's a tie for 10th place. That's why I'm going to do the top 11. It goes up to 11. So the thing about this setup is, this is a setup I have wanted to do for like 3 tournaments, but unfortunately, not enough people owned Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I couldn't get it into the tournament until this one, when some more people picked it up and I was able to do it. And of course, it's bug-themed. I really wanted to do a big bug-themed setup, with Annihilus being a bug-themed character in the Annihilation Wave, also Meek and No Name having bug attributes. Then we got Ant Army there and Tardigrade. And I also used Fnatic for United and the Freedom Fighters to get like this big party of characters in the hero deck, like the Wedding Party. And everybody loves Ruin the Perfect Wedding. I think it's one of the top rated schemes of all time when we did the scheme ratings. Yeah, thank you. I'm full of references, you know that. And I think actually, if I remember my lore correctly from Planet Hulk, Meek and No Name actually did have somewhat of an actual canonical relationship for a bit in that. So this actually is thematic to the comics as well, even though Annihilus never crashed it. Let's look at some of the comments. The lowest ranking was a 3 out of 5. Setup was good, but would have been better without the Freedom Fighters, said D. Robin Shadow of the Bat. This influenced your new solo setup. Great, I look forward to playing that one. And then Montag said Rick Jones was a great addition. The F4 did a great job clearing the city. Siege said this is a fun scheme and a good setup. The only reason I rated it a 4 was that there were several mechanisms which rushed villains into the city, making escapes much more likely, which is annoying in tournament games since escapes have an outsized impact on your score. I did see that in a lot of setups, that people rated things differently during the tournament rather than they would have normally when escapes don't really matter for anything. Which I totally get, makes sense. You're rating this as you played it in the tournament. Maybe Breloom said one side went black, the other went blue, and worked out so well. Wasp was constantly delivering 12 plus fight turns, and I got really lucky with momentum. Great choice with Wasp there. Tardigrades are great henchmen, and antic size changing is very powerful, says Jean-Sebastian Genevieve. KFC Stall says, I am an experienced legendary player, but this is a complicated, fun setup with characters I haven't really played with or against. Compare this to the cyberspace one. Also a complicated setup, but a little bit less to track and much more fun. So there's some differences there. One, you're not actually having to count as many values. You're not converting attack into recruit. You're not tracking extra attack in the city. You're just tracking things moving fast through the city and things moving. So at a glance, you can see what everything is without having to use dice or counters or anything. And that's something that is important when you're trying to design something that's fun. Bernicus said, incredible smooth game. Most insane turn in game 1 when I can hit the mastermind twice. That's fun. And HPHG and Edited Miss said, our first game was over in 22 turns with 1 escape. We even played a second to try no escapes, but had 1 getaway 2 turns earlier. But Duck's deck was so strong, he hit an Eyeless twice without even pulling in Galactus and growing in between fights. So, yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed this one. I wanted to include the Abomination. We don't really have a second bug-themed villain group, so I thought Abomination would work well. I hope you guys get to try this one. Let's look at our top 10. So there was a tie for 10th place. The first one that tied was Dining in the Dark, which is surprising. Oh, sorry, there was a 3-way tie. That's why it's 8th place. I forgot. So there was a 3-way tie for 8th place. This one is only Core, Fantastic Four, and Paint the Town Red. So I was a bit surprised that it got such a high rating. It was an awesome setup of 4.3. But when putting this together, I thought, hey, you know what? If I'm going to make a setup that uses these few sets, how can I make it the most fun possible using a Mastermind and Scheme combination? I know Galactus is one of the most fun Masterminds in general. The scheme is so-so, but I thought it would be fun to combine that with Galactus, because once he starts destroying city spaces, it kind of neuters the scheme a little bit, even though he stays buffed. And this scheme doesn't really do that much anyway, but I thought, blowing up the Dark Dimension would be kind of fun. Also, I used Skrulls, which is one of the most fun villain groups, and I used Hawkeye, Iron Man, who already work well together, and then Scarlet Spider. Yeah, so Blade Armorcron says, I liked it because of the preset heroes. What I have learned this tournament, surprisingly, I didn't pick this up in a lot of the last ones, is how important the preset heroes are. They seem to be a major factor in the fun level, which makes sense because you have to pick your heroes based on what's there. And if they don't have synergy, then you're just going to have kind of a slog of a game, even if you pick other heroes, depending on who shows up. So the preset heroes are a big deal, and I've been trying to put more emphasis into ones that work well together. I'd rather give you a tougher setup with better heroes than an easier setup with tougher heroes that don't synergize well, if that makes sense. Some of the comments, Graded Morgan and McCall said, Galactus always keeps us on our toes. First game started looking out rough, but ended fairly well. Second game seemed super promising at first, and then we ended up losing. Yeah, I think everybody wanted this one. Exactly. I like seeing a simple setup that goes well. Wayne Crusader got a tech deck going and spider stuff. Galactus is difficult, says Minos Griffin and Fern. First game we lost by strikes. The second game we were a little more lucky, but it took us a while to build our decks. Galactus is definitely a mastermind that benefits from being able to play your setups twice. I'm glad that is a thing we do in our tournaments. I wasn't sure how that was going to go because people might feel obligated to play 2 setups, but overall people like being able to somewhat cancel out a bad shuffle, even though you could definitely get 2 bad shuffles in a row. Big Dog William Dashburn said, we really love drawing a ton of cards. That's always fun. Manic Monkey Man said, wasn't as soul-crushing as I thought it was going to be. I have saved this setup for future plays with friends. Gun the Run said, Wolverine, I always read that wrong, Gun Their Gun, said, Wolverine dished out a lot of damage. Hawkeye's impossible trick shot could also rescue a ton of bystanders. Very fun game. And just simply, this is a fun setup up there at the top. Jindo's in chat, when I was going over the setups, I noticed you give the synergies right up front, and the heroes we had to choose were more about rounding out the edges. Yeah, I tried. You'll see the ones we went over that were not very popular didn't really do that. So more emphasis on the hero deck and more thought there is important. All right, that was Dining in the Dark. I think one of my weakest titles, by the way. I couldn't really think of anything good for Galactus in the Dark Dimension. I was thinking of like Dormammu stuff and eating stuff. And if you can think of a better title, please let me know, because this one I was kind of stumped on. Let's look at... let's pause for a second. I want to show you the other 8th place setups, but we're going to go ahead and jump back into some giveaways for a moment. What else do I have to give away? I want to give away... Hey, thanks for the bits, Kyla. All right. I'm going to give out another Kyla expansion. He has got a copy of a set we talked about. Did we talk? I think we talked about this. I don't know why it stopped spinning, but this is Dimensions. A copy of Legendary Dimensions that Kyla is giving out. This is such a wild set. If you don't know about Dimensions, it uses all the trading cards from the Marvel 3D trading cards that came out years before, where you had to get trading cards and collect them all to get these unique mechanic legendary cards. And then those were all released in Dimensions, so you could just buy them. Plus some new content like J. Jonah Jameson and Jessica Jones and stuff. But let's go ahead and see who gets this copy of Dimensions, who does not own it yet, who played all 7 weeks. And this is going to... Flash Spider-Man! Congrats, Flash Spider-Man! You've won a copy of Dimensions. And J. Jonah as a mask for it is very, very hilarious. It's so much fun. And let's do a couple of general promo spins. Kind of. All right. Oh, here's the promos. So I'm going to start with this. I have... Let's go back up. I got some shiny Thors. So this is Thor from Organized Play Kit 1. We're going to spin 4. I have 4 of these. We're going to spin all 4 Thors right now. 1 is from Kyla, the 3 are from me. And we're going to see who wins a copy of the Thor shiny. It's very shiny, very Thor. And we'll see what happens. I don't know how Thor's going to change for 2nd edition. So spinning 4 times for Thor. Here's the first one from Kyla. A shiny Thor promo is going to Mystic Ruby. Mystic Ruby, there you go. Let's go ahead and spin for some more Thor. The next Thor is going to... So much fun. Minos, Griffin, and Fern. All right. Next one is going to... Hello. 2 more. You know that person. 2 more. Thors. Give out all the Thors. Texpa gets one of these shiny Thors. And the final shiny Thor goes to... DSX Matthew. DSX Matthew gets a shiny Thor promo. There you go. I hope you enjoy that. Did you see a playmat before Thor? Yeah, I was scrolling through all the promos on Legendary Card Game, and this is the Avengers vs. Loki playmat. I do have, I think I can give away a playmat on here. We'll take care of that in a little bit. I have, I think Kyla has a playmat to give away, and I also have one. So let's go ahead and look at that. But let's jump back into, we're having fun. Let's go back into these. Let's do one more of these. What do you guys want to see? First one in the chat is the one I reveal. We have some fun ones like Mastermind's Punching Bag. Most Strikes have played. All right, Speediest. Speediest is Kyla. Speediest Speedster. So here we go. Fewest total turns, 7 games played. So what I did was, because that's important here, I took everybody who played all 7 weeks. That counts if you got a sub. And I added up your turns. Look, as you can see here, there's a tie for 3rd. So the 5th speediest player, adding up all your turns in the tournament this time, was Old Rocky Top, with a total of 164 turns taken in all submitted games. Well done there, Old Rocky Top. And then the tie for 3rd, our first 3rd place, our one of our 3rd speediest speedsters in this tournament, was the Milkman and Snap City 57, the champions of our entire tournament, showing that turns really do make a difference. 162 turns. That means also Mike H. Legendary, also 162 turns. 2 shorter turns, 2 fewer turns than Old Rocky Top. Well done there. But they weren't the top. Our 2nd most speediest speedster of the entire tournament was Kyle and Ollie. with 160 turns total for the two of you over the course of the entire event. And then the top. Somebody did go a little faster than you guys. The fastest legendary player of the entire tournament was Doomfollow with only 159 turns played on submitted games. Mind you, this does include losing turn counts without the 99 subtraction. But I think a lot of people here won their games. So congratulations, Doomfollow, on being the speediest speedster of the entire event. Well done there. All right, let's jump back into our setup overview. We ended on Dining in the Dark. Now let's look at the other two that tied for 8th place. Next up, we have Baron Calls Thralls, my weak attempt at a Better Call Saul title reference. And we've got Baron Helmet Zemo and Hypnotize Every Human. So Hypnotize Every Human is one of the most fun schemes according to you guys in the scheme ratings, and I thought Zemo would be fun. He doesn't really affect the scheme that much, except for the fact that you want to get villains to weaken him a little bit, and Hypnotize Every Human makes that a little tougher, but gives you a lot of chance to get bystanders. I put in Illuminati and the Cape Killers, which are a little tricky, and also Thor Core. Now, I didn't want to leave you empty-handed with the Thor Core because I know just Thor Core by themselves are rough. First of all, I did give you a henchman with KO in addition, and second, I gave you Lady Thor. And the Lady Thor and Thor Core combination, I think you really, really appreciated, and that pushed this over the top. Yeah, I'll have this up for you guys later on. I'm going to do some editing, but I'll have this up for you. So yeah, Lady Thor and Thor Core work so well together, I wanted to give you those. And then we've also got Hulkling and Totally Awesome Hulk. Hulkling's very versatile. He can copy cards, for goodness sake. And so is Totally Awesome Hulk, give or take. He's got, he can take advantage of all those bystanders with cheering crowds. The lowest score for this one, by the way, was an awesome 4.3. The lowest rating was a 4 out of 5. And J-Dum said this is probably the setup I enjoyed most this tournament. I think that was a typo after I read it. Thank you for the water. The villain, while hard, didn't feel overwhelming. I do think I needed to finish quicker, but unfortunately neither game I was able to get done in a timely manner. Snash in the speaking said so many bystanders, and a lot of fun stuff happened. Real Daniel had a turn where he used Hulkling's Impersonate to copy Heroim, save from the rubble, and hit Zemo 3 times. It was an uneven game between players. And what else? John Sebastian here. We did not like Thor Core, but they kind of worked with Lady Thor and the other heroes. Incredible mind, awesome body with cheering crowds, saved the day twice by allowing more draws and getting enough attack to prevent escapes. So yeah, I was trying to get Thor Core to be in a setup that people liked, and I guess I succeeded in that. Pi here, that's how I read your name, had lots of synergy with hero picks, a lot of size changing, a lot of stuff with Amadeus there. First game, G-Scrap said they had a very friendly HQ with Hero and Redeemed in play early on. Tozar got a few rares early, and that'll happen. But overall, it was the bystanders, it was the combination of Thor Core and Lady Thor. This video is not a gameplay video, so this is probably going to be up earlier. But most of the time, Broken Pants, you are right. Depends on when I can get this edited. Okay, so try this one. This was very fun. And then the other one that ranked at 8th place in the tie was Unnatural Selection. Simpler setup when it comes to the sets. We had Mr. Sinister and Devolve with Zero Gen Crystals. Now this one was a kind of a choke point for me where I had a pod with limited sets. Dark City, Black Panther, Roma Kings, and Fantastic Four, and Paint the Town Red, I believe, were all that was available. And I hadn't used Mr. Sinister yet, and I wanted to come up with something that was pretty fun. Sinister is pretty easy on his own. He gets buffed by the bystanders, but that doesn't really do much. Devolve with Zero Gen Crystals is interesting, and I think that would have presented a interesting challenge. Also, Bishop and Human Torch are a fun combo. Karnak is great with getting those villains in your victory pile. Makes you want to get Killmonger's League out of the city faster, so Karnak works. Oh no! I don't know why that didn't play. I'll refund that. You bet. And then I think another key was making the Magia Goons the Zero Gen experiment. So with Magia Goons with Abomination, you can still bribe them up to that full value. My other option was to give you Phalanx, and I don't think this would have been rated as fun as it was if I did that. It kind of counters the scheme a little bit by letting you have another way to fight them when they're strong. It was an awesome 4.30 rating, by the way. And down here, Mr. Dollar got Jean, whose rares early, and hit the Mastermind 5 times on turn 20. I think a lot of people did that here. Bystanders everywhere says Jesus rocks into bomb. Yeah, a lot of bystanders with Sinister and stuff. And interested to see how many number of turns hold up against others in the pod. Reminded me of pod 1 in the sense this is a very easy setup you can get going due to many options for synergies with heroes and options included in these sets. Again, synergies between the heroes being very, very important. Picked up Professor X's rare early, says frequent. And then here 5 says Jean Grey is broken in specific setups. And Tozar had great luck with Domino and Forge. And just the fact that Dark City was available, and I think this is earlier in the setup, or kind of in the middle of the tournament, people had access to a lot of Dark City heroes, and that also helps, especially when you have a strong foundation here. Not super surprised this one did really well, but I'm glad I was able to put something together that was this fun with limited sets, kind of similar to Dining in the Dark. Limited sets kind of sometimes puts me into a corner where I have to be more creative with how to make it fun, and it turns out to be really, really good. All right, so that means that was our 8th place, so we're going to look at our top 7 in a little bit. But let's do one more giveaway before we get to our top 7. What are we going to give away now? How about... Let's do this. This will be fun. I have some Guardians of the Galaxy to give away. And the thing about this one is there's only a few people on the list. And some people already won something. So now there's even fewer people on the list. Let me just adjust that real quick and show you the list. All right. So here we go. Here is the wheel for Guardians of the Galaxy. Only 3 people don't own it who played all 7 weeks of the tournament. And I have 2 copies to give away. One is donated by Corey G. Very generous of Corey G, who does not have the box for it, but has the full sets that he'll send to you. And the other one is from Kyla. So the first that I'm going to spin for is the one that doesn't have a box. But you don't need the box if you're playing the card. So who's going to go ahead and get this one? This copy of Guardians of the Galaxy. With no box. If you choose to accept it, it's going to Pi 314, etc. There you go. And then the next one, there's only 2 people left, so it's between Waffle Wings and Jay Goodenough. Who is going to win this copy of Guardians of the Galaxy from Kyla? Let's see who it is. It's a coin flip. It's going to be Jay Goodenough. It's a really fun set. Hope you enjoy it. All right. There we go. So maybe Waffle Wings will get a chance to win something else a little later. Only one left on the wheel there. And let's do one more. Let's do a promo. I have one of these. I'm scrolling through my promos here. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? A lot of cool promos on this list. It is this one. It is a shiny symbiote Spider-Man Thwip I want to give away. I have one to give away, and this is it. So let's go ahead and see who's getting this one. Spinning for a surprise box you get it in. That's cool. Shiny Spidey. Let's see who gets this shiny Spidey. Okay, that one goes to Hate PhD and Edited Mist. Get the shiny symbiote Spidey. Thank you also for playing the entire run of the tournament. I appreciate that. All right, let's jump back into our special awards. What do you want to see now? Then I'll go over the top 7 setup, maybe the number 7, number 6. The most unique hero choices is interesting. Most efficient is important. All right, Rio says most unique hero choices. So what I did for this one, I wanted to run more stats on it. Basically, I'll do most original players. What I did was I took, for each hero you chose for each attempt, I did a counting formula where it counted how many times in the entire block of all hero choices for the whole event was that hero chosen. And then I did that for all 4 of the heroes you chose for your games. And so the lowest number means that you chose heroes that most other people didn't choose. And if you're here in the chat, you can give us a reasoning for that, which will be interesting. All right, our top 5 most original hero choices. Hero choosers, I suppose. People who chose heroes that not a lot of people did. 5th place, most original, is Mystic Ruby with a 227 uniqueness value. That's the value I gave to it. The lower number, the more unique, the more original. Basically, that's a count of how many times other players chose the heroes you chose. Added up for each attempt. 4th place most original goes to Booyah and DS CERN. 223 uniqueness value there. 3rd place goes to Captain Cardinal and Paisley, 5002, a 220 uniqueness value. Who was the 2nd most original player? Most unique, yes. Most unique. It's more specific, most original hero choices. You must have made some kind of conscious effort to not choose the heroes that you thought were the obvious ones. 2nd place goes to Baby Breloom with a value of 219. And our first most original hero choice, our first player with, how do I want to say this? The player with the most original hero choices of the tournament. There we go. Some of them had obvious choices, some of them didn't. Number 1 was Siege with 196 uniqueness value. So Siege was the most unique player when it came to hero choices. So congrats on that, Siege. And good job not going with the crowd on that one. All right, let's look at our next setup. Going to the next one after our three-way tie for 8th place is a tie for 6th place. We had a 2 setup tie. This is an awesome setup, 4.33 out of 5, and that surprised me with the scheme. The scheme is smash 2 dimensions together. The setup is Odin visits Minneapolis, St. Paul, and if you didn't understand the title, that's because that area is called the Twin Cities, and in the scheme you have Twin Cities. And you can check that out at Evil Space Cal if you want, since you know who that is. So Odin is an easier mastermind. You just got to keep track of the henchmen. So I thought I could pair an easier mastermind with a bit of a tougher scheme. And also, Odin really only gets tough if those villains escape. And this makes it more likely that the Asgardian warriors escape. But I did also give you the Deadlands to help with those escapes, because if one of the ones that ascends escapes, it does not count against your escapes at the end of the game. Also, Marvel Knights and Uncanny X-Men are pretty easy. Actually, Marvel Knights are a pretty easy group. Uncanny X-Men gets easier when you have this because it nerfs their extreme attack because they're in different cities. And then for your heroes or allies, I suppose, because we did this as a villains game, we had Bullseye, Mysterio, and Warpath. Warpath is a great hero. Bullseye is very strong. Mysterio is very flexible. So all 3 of them, again, I thought would work very well together and give you some fun choices. And I was able to give you a full villains game, which was great, using the new recruits and Madame Hydra. The lowest rating for this one was a 4 out of 5. So Mr. Dollar and Squishy Fish said they just got a bad shuffle with 5 twists at the beginning, but some good decks. And after they ended up with 12 to 13 card hands every turn, using Bullseye to pick up his own rare and demolishing the mastermind. I'm really glad when I get to use villains. And Elongated Man said, hand 1 focused on Warpath and new recruits, hand 2 focused on Bullseye and Electro, and that was some success. It was fun to use villains in this matchup, says Booyah. What else? First game was a mess at OCS, but the second game went a lot better. Will the Grey enjoyed the scheme. It left some interesting choices. Theme-wise, Warpath felt out of place. Yeah, he doesn't really fit. I was hoping you'd kind of like say he was mind controlled or sub another villain, because I really wanted to use his mechanics there. I can't always do a full theme, but I'm glad you liked the villain setup as a change of pace. Jay Pilger said it was very fun. So much control between choosing which city villain cards enter, cloning multiple men, and manipulating the HQ layer, even because he chose multiple men. Even setting up ascending masterminds rather than letting the escape pile stack up. Yep. And Big this is the first game ever on the villains mat. Storm auto landing on the rooftops, not being able to move, and guaranteeing binding was unfortunate, but had a fun time with a 5 out of 5. Each is also at a 5 out of 5 with some awesome tactical formation stuff. Recruited some rares for the first time this tournament with Green Goblin and Bullseye. Wow. Picking out the card city interactions was very interesting. Odin had no buffs from escapes. I'm gonna take my flowers here for making Smash 2 dimensions together. One that was very fun. I hope you guys get to try this one. Let's look at the other setup that tied with it for 6th most fun setup of the entire tournament. By the way, there were 95 setups in this tournament, so these highest rated ones are significantly good, I think. It was Madeline Liar, another title I was very proud of, which was, I think, early on. Yeah, it was Pod 7 the first week. It was an awesome 4.33 setup. Weave a Web of Lies is a scheme that is not the favorite. It's low in the tier list for most fun schemes, but Madeline Pryor is very, very high in the tier list. And I combined these for the name, and I thought about if they would work well together, and they did. Getting all those bystanders from Madeline Pryor is always fun. Underworld's not too tough. Modoc's provide an interesting challenge with also providing that KO. And then, by the way, For the record, this is an awesome setup with Black Cat in the setup. I did also give you Invisible Woman. Whenever I give you Black Cat, she's not one of the favorite heroes, but I did want to give you her with some other heroes that can carry their weight. So she's not that rough, but she's also great with the scheme. Having to pay that recruit. And then Proxima Midnight here as well. So solid middle of the road opening round setup, said Bronson and Lighthouse. Ray Pod said pretty fun. Don't think I had the best strategy leading into Invisible Woman's 4 of a kind, but I got the job done. Pi got very lucky with Symbiote Spider-Man on the left. And then I think your hero choices made this for you guys. Mr. Tins used Nightcrawler to make a great combo with Proxima. Also brought in Electro to work with Black Cat. Nuke and Foob said, very enjoyable, not super spicy. Overall, a good time with a good theme. Cubbynex Jr. had a this comment is very helpful to me. This means a lot. The setup was challenging but not frustrating, so it was a lot of fun. That is what I'm going for every single time. So that is exactly it right there. No problem. You're welcome. Thanks for coming by. Put it together. Heroes complemented each other. Worry about the last scheme twist that would blow up. Combination of Master Runner scheme was excellent, said Will the Grey. And Jean Grey was MVP, said Jester Gito. So that's another one. Another simple one. Usage sets that you probably have. I think Secret Wars Volume 1 is the one that is hardest to find right now. People have less often, but a lot of people do have it. All right. Bam says in the comments, in the chat, cool to see you working on some challenging, less loved schemes, villains, etc. to see if you could crack the code for fun. Huge props from the effort. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying not to repeat any masterminds or schemes. So if I have a lower rated mastermind or scheme, I try to find the counterpart that will bump them both up. Or just give you heroes that work really well against them. So as you can see, my mistake with the lowest rated ones were not giving adequate hero choices. All right, we're going to get to our top 5 in a little bit. Our top 5 setups of the whole tournament. Let's do some more giveaways. Let's cycle back over there. What else do I still got a lot of stuff to give away. We're going to do some big ones soon. Oh, I have a really good one that I want to do a little bit later. Since we talked about Dark City a lot, I have a copy of Dark City to give away. Let me make sure I have names that are on there. Didn't win anything yet. Okay, that name won something. And that name didn't win, and that name didn't win. Oh, yes. Actually, this is a default. We already had 2 other winners. So I'm just going to spin as a formality. We have 1 copy of Dark City. Most everybody owns it. This is from Corey G. This is one without a box. So all that's left is Waffle Wings and Peyton. I wonder who this is going to. Oh, look! Waffle Wings and Patien have won a copy of Dark City. Everybody has Dark City. But I hope you guys enjoy that. Again, there's no box, but again, you don't need the box. You're not going to play with the box, and I hope you accept it because it's great. So congrats, congrats on that one. I want everybody to have this, and I hope this stuff comes back into stock soon. What else can I do? Let's do... Actually, this will be fun. So, I have one more thing to do here. Putting up the general one. So we have given away... Actually, Sharknado has donated a expansion. And he's done something very special. He has donated a small box of the player's choice. So I'm going to spin all these names. And if your name comes up, you win any small box you want. And if you don't, I'll spin on the promo wheel for you or something. I'll give you something good if you don't want that. If you already have all the small boxes. All right, this is for a small box of your choice. Don't say Captain America. He's probably going to have a hard time getting that one. Maybe not Spider-Man Homecoming, but the rest should be no problem. Very generous of Sharknado to do this. So 1 small box of your choice. Again, if I roll your name, I'm going to respin if you already won something. Sean D. Sean D has won a small box of his choice from Sharknado. It's very generous, very, very kind. I love to see the community paying it forward like this. So that's it. Awesome. And while I'm on this wheel, let's go ahead and spin for... Nah, I'm going to change my mind. I don't want to spin for that right now. I want to do them all at once. Let's do... We'll come back. We'll come back. Let's go ahead and go back to the awards. All right, guys, what's next? What do you want to see next? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them left. Then we'll look at some more of the top 5 highest rated setups of the tournament. Don't forget, I do have the post-tournament survey. Let me paste that over here. Actually, I can just show that. Make sure you fill out the post-tournament survey if you can. It would really help us out in making the next tournament even better than this one was. Okay, so Snatch wants to see the most perfectly balanced. Most perfectly balanced, as all things should be. This is lowest combined VP difference over 7 games played. Again, that means, let me actually, it's a little cramped. There. So, you're playing with 2 hands of 2 people. And what I did was I took every single one of your results that you submitted. I subtracted them from each other, found the absolute value, and I added those all together. So, the people on this list built the best, they were the most fair between decks or hands. Most evenly split VP. Our 5th place most perfectly balanced was Winged Crusader with a total of only 73 VP between hands the entire tournament. That is very, very close. No lopsided games for you at all in all 7 weeks. 4th place goes to Energy Thief with only 70 VP difference between all games, all hands. Now the top 3 are interesting because the top 3 are teams. So because the top 3 are teams, that means you play really, really well together and you're very fair in how you distribute things with each other. Some teams will let one player get pretty lopsided with their results in order to win, but I think these 3 people really value the teamwork that they share. 3rd place goes to Cubby's Next Jr. and Wife. Only 54 VP split between the 2 of you. Well done there as a team. 2nd place goes to Booyah and Diacern. Only 52 VP apart for the entire thing. Thank you, Mont. I appreciate that. It is a lot of stat work, but I found a way to make it quick. And the most perfectly balanced players who shared with each other, coordinated the HQ, and had really good games, or bad games, whatever happened, they did it together. It was Wax Bottle and Mrs. Wax Bottle. Look at that. We got two married couples here at least, with 45 VP there. So between the 2 of you, only 45 VP difference for all 7 games. That's incredible. You're most perfectly balanced, and you should wear that with pride. All right, let's jump back into our setups. Look at our top 5. So there's Madeline Liar. Top 5. 5th place goes to Svarto Heist, another title I'm very proud of. It's got an awesome rating with 4.44 out of 5. This was pod number 5 in the first week. The mastermind was Malekith the Accursed, and the scheme was steal the weaponized plutonium. So obviously I put these together in order to have lots of capturing of things that buff things. So Malekith has its villainous weapons, that's his whole deal. And the weaponized plutonium also does the same thing. It buffs up enemies by having them captured. They're kind of villainous weapons before they were villainous weapons, even though those don't become artifacts. The title came after. I really had to think about it, but I didn't want to put these 2 together. And then we had Dark Council by default. Subterranea, that's fun because they could burrow with villainous weapons. You take them off of them and they burrow anyway. And this scheme has 2 henchmen. I gave you Hydra Base to give you some kind of free KO and not let things get completely out of control with the weapons, but also Lethal Legion. So both of those gave you lots of locations. Sorry, I misspoke. I meant extra villain group. The point was I gave you extra locations to make it a little more manageable. And then the hero deck, again, I gave you Angel. Angel is very, very powerful. It gives you a lot of seeds for what you want to add as your heroes. And then Thing and Warriors 3. Now, Thing and Warriors 3 have to do with the city. They can work with the city spaces, and that's one of the reasons why I put them together. Here are the ranks that most won original. Okay, so Evil Space Cow has the ranks for the finishing ranks for those who won most original. Very interesting. So it looks like, I don't know if there's a correlation there. But it looks like, so I guess from that list, it was Captain Carter and Paisley who did the best with the original choices. Very interesting. Yeah, so again, another situation where I gave you a fun setup. I gave you some things in the villain deck to counter it, and some stuff in the hero deck that's going to be a lot of fun. Lowest rating was a 3 out of 5. So many locations and weapons, this was hell. Max didn't like it that much, but I think he was the only one. Captain Toad simply says, diving catch is fun. Antude went with Beta Ray Bill right away for discard synergy, and it paid off. Whenever I see Angel in a Dark City setup and Heroes of Asgard is available, I'm going to choose Beta Ray Bill. That's great. Old Rocky Top said the provided heroes gave most of the needed firepower. Cool. I used to be afraid of giving you too much power in the hero deck, but I learned that just adjust the villains and the mastermind to make it a little tougher, and this contributes heavily to the fun. Scoots Magoo said a really fun scenario. What else? Frequent said so many moving parts and bonuses to track, which is funny because in other setups, I had low ratings that also said something just like So many moving parts and bonuses to track, but set it as a negative. So it depends on the person. Freeclip went full hyperspeed, which is very, very fun. I love doing that with Angel. Good fun to start the tournament, said Hendrick. And Minos Griffin and Fern said really good mastermind and scheme combination. A lot of interesting mechanics that work great together. So let me know what you think if you decide to play this one. I really thought that this scheme with villainous weapons would be fun. I would be interested to try it with Ronin as well. Let's keep going with this. Our fourth most fun setup of the tournament was A Baby's Got a Tomb. So A Baby's Got a Tomb. This is Pod 33. It got an awesome rating with 4.5, a fun level. And yeah, so Adrian Toombs has that really unique Master Strike effect where he triggers escape effects on enemies in the city. And I knew I wanted to put in a zombie group. I went with the Deadlands here because when that effect can be triggered early and they can ascend from the city, which is very, very fun. Yeah, Pi there says, I think the difference is that there are a lot of things to track, but they are all on cards instead of momentum and such. That is a good point. Pod name alone makes it a top 5. Thanks. Catch Your Baby Hope is one of the most fun schemes rated by you. Also, when Capture Baby Hope, when Baby Hope is carried off and escapes, that can make it rough. I also wanted to make a fun scenario where Deadlands could ascend with Baby Hope without triggering the escape, because it's not really an escape, it's doing the escape effect, so that the baby could be captured by a mastermind that way, and I thought that would be very funny to do. Bamlin says, where does the starting point for these setups come from? Is it a certain card, a pair of cards, hero synergy? I can't imagine doing a handful of these, let alone nearly 100 of them for a tourney. Put a pin in that. I'll explain my general process after I go over this one, because it's a good question. Okay, looks. By the way, heroes, I give you Warlock and Superior Iron Man. A lot of tech synergy there. Started with that. And then Happy Hogan, who can KO some Master Strikes. And so he can cancel some of those escape effects. So he can prevent the Deadlands from ascending early as well. So Sandals and Mrs. Sandals said, having seen how quickly 2 spiders could win a pod last week, and having 2 heroes at 2 cost commons, it would be rude to not go with web slinging ourselves. They chose spiders and it worked out pretty well. And Master Strikes making the zombies ascend to Mastermind status was pretty brutal, but it was fun to plan around. That's an important distinction from Jiggly's Puff. Flip-Flop says there are 2 types of Adrian Toombs games. Will the Grey says gameplay was great. The card interactions were fun to think about, and I enjoyed mitigating all the potential problems. Free Clint said great setup. Villain deck worked in their favor. Might run it again while cards ride to see if it goes nuts. Chosra had a good time. Tried to hit Adrian Toombs early to prevent the striker. Oh yeah, that's why I put Happy Hogan in there, to help prevent the striker. It wouldn't actually prevent the striker. I put him in there to interact with it. Hate BSG said, I didn't have a bad time, I thought it was fine. I think that was edited misquotes. Edited misquote, right? Super fun. Pretty sure edited about 3 rares in game 1 and 4 rares in game 2. Did wall crawling spiders, said Chuck Bauer. Adamantium Gambit said, this setup was one of the most fun setups I've played in a long time. And Red Block said, pairing Tombs with Deadlands is a great setup. Almost all the hero deck was tech. So those 2 things are very important there. All right, we're going to go ahead and look at our top 3 setups in just a little bit. I want to answer this question real quick. Jigglypuff said about that last setup. I love this scenario. Most of my friends only play the MCU sets. So this is a nice way to introduce a bit of sets that are new to them. I'm glad to hear that. I want to get cross-play between both camps of only comics and only MCU. Mix them. It's fun. So the starting points for these setups, I'm going to... I'll give you more context on that a little bit later. Let me just jump into the week 1 setups here so I can have something on the screen. So, where's the starting point for these setups? Well, the first thing I do, I heard your request for me to post a video of my process of building pods. I couldn't do it with the existing ones because that would give away too much information, but I'm going to try to put a video together that shows you my process. So the first thing I have to do is I have to make the pods before I build any setups, and that I figure out who goes into what pod. I generally go off, I have a big list of people by current point value, and I use that to build the pods. I have to see what sets they share. If they share enough sets, I can leave them there. If they don't share enough sets, I have to move people around. So eventually I have pods that have certain sets allowed. Then I will have a list of masterminds and schemes I have not used yet. And so I'm going to pick a mastermind from the list that I haven't used yet, and I'll do that. And then I'll pick a list, I'll look at the list of schemes I haven't used yet, and I'll try to find a scheme that goes really well with that mastermind I already picked. And then after that, I'll start to build the rest of the setup. But that's the general idea of how I start to build things, and I'm going to give you more details on that later on. Oh, that's totally fine. There's some great YouTube videos out there on the background for comic characters, so if you have people who really care about who they're playing with, I recommend watching those videos of those heroes before you start playing. Hey, you're welcome. All right, let's do some more giveaways. I do have more things to give away. The next thing I'm going to give away is another small box set, and this one is going to be... Do you guys hear those drums? I don't hear the drums. I do. Black Panther. Black Panther's a very fun set. There was one setup in this tournament I gave you a lot of heroic ambush that I really wanted you to take advantage of. It's a really cool mechanic. And I love this set. What can I say? Let's see who wins this copy. By the way, this is from Evil Space Cow. Thank you, Evil Space Cow, for donating this copy of Black Panther. Here we go. This is going to... Okay. So Waffle Wings, you already won Dark City, so I'm going to spin again. Let's see who gets it. All right. Did they win anything yet? I don't think so. So Black Panther is going to Graded Morgan and Graded McCall. So thank you so much, Evil Space Cow, for donating that copy of Black Panther. In chat, I often get my first bits of info about characters from playing games. Yeah, me too. And then I go read the comics or just watch a video on them. That helps me out. Next, I'm going to give away another set. This one is from Upper Deck. Upper Deck has generously donated even more sets. This next one is a copy of the second most recent expansion, 2099. One copy of 2099. Thank you again, Upper Deck, for this. Let's see who wins this copy of 2099. Here we go. All right, this goes to Big Dog William and Dashburn. Congratulations, you two, for this copy of 2099. It's a really fun set. Love using Undercover this new way. All right, mainly against chickens. Let's do one more of these. I have some bigger sets to give away too, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And most everything is gone, and has some big promos too. Let's do one more of these. All right, what do you want to see? We have 5 more special awards to give out. We got Ultimate Collector, Most Efficient, Best Shield Op, Villain's Favorite, and Mastermind's Punching Bag. Should be a good time to go over. Okay, we're going with escapes. We're going with Villain's Favorite. So, these people let the most escapes happen. I'm going with the first one I saw. This, again, will vary based on the setup. We had another tie for 3rd. But 5th place, the Villain's Favorite, to let most of the villains escape, probably because they're just trying to get better, you know. Our 5th place goes to, our 5th Villain's Favorite is The Bomb Is Me with 23 escapes over the course of the entire event. Next is a tie for 3rd. 3rd most escapes goes to Greta Morgan and Greta McCall, who just won something. 27 escapes tied with Mumu Kitty and Marsupial. Oh wait, that's the actual 3rd place. This should be 4th. I'll change it. We'll do it live. There we go. So Greta Morgan and Greta McCall got 4th place. Mumu Kitty got 3rd place with 29 escapes. Let's check out 2nd place. The second villain's second favorite, I suppose, who let the second most escapes happen, was Blade Omicron with 34 total escapes over the course of the entire event. And finally, the villain's favorite player of the entire game, who let most of them escape, was my name Jeff with 38 total escapes. So congratulations on being on the villain side. I think you're playing an angle, and I can't wait to find out what that is. Is there a reason that escaped bystanders isn't counted against you? I would think it's similar to an escaped villain. Yeah, well, escaped bystanders counts against you because you have to do that discard. But if I'm thinking of it, if I'm trying to put my headcanon in there, a villain that escapes is going to go off and do a lot more worse things, and probably capture more bystanders. A captured bystander is one person who might be rescued later. But if I had to choose, I would probably rescue the bystander, though, over letting the villain escape. But maybe they're double agents, I don't know. But the discard is a penalty. It would be interesting if we tracked, we had another factor for bystanders carried off, but it doesn't happen that often. Just practically within the game. All right, let's look at more setups. And then we'll do even more giveaways. We're over an hour into this thing. We just have 3 setups left to go. Our top 3, new hostage. Our top 3 setups. These top 3 are setups you should play. If you have the sets, you should play them. I think they're all got incredible ratings. Here we go. Number 3 is actually a tie for number 2. Our first tie for second most fun setup of the tournament is our first incredible, a 4.6 rating, a giant ego, and also a planet. Another title I was proud of. Didn't have a reference, but it felt fitting. So I was able, in the last week, to combine ego and other things. I struggled. I had a lot of schemes. This pod, they had access to a lot of sets. And that's always harder for me. I struggled to find a scheme that worked really well. I thought about using ones that cared about city spaces, but I thought, what about ego? You're trying to take down in his traditional way, but you could also completely fail because Doom, who this actually is, could take over at the last minute. And also, as you're shrinking the city, you could have more escapes. So that's what I decided to go with. I went with the Infinity Stones. I didn't use them that much, and they're pretty strong, but it's less likely for them to escape if the city is full of extra spaces from ego, so you have to time that correctly. Also, Rival Overlords are very fun. I was able to sneak in you topless. I wasn't sure about that because they are one of the least fun villain groups in the entire game. But if you, at the beginning of the game, you should have more city spaces than fewer. So hopefully that gave you a bit of a buffer to prevent some of those charges from causing escapes. And the Ultron Sentries are fun. And then I gave you Gamora, Destroyer of Thanos, the Captain and the Devil, and Mantis. Captain the Devil is going to be great early on, and less so as the game goes on once the streets and stuff are destroyed. Mantis and Gamora work pretty well together, and they give you great templates for selecting more. These have less synergy altogether than other heroes, but there's a lot in these sets that give you opportunities. Because What If and Secret Wars have a lot of heroes in them, and Marvel Studios Guardians and Infinity Saga have some as well. A lot of MCU in there. I wanted to get those MCU sets in there. Less common stuff also is pretty fun. The lowest rating here is 3 out of 5 who got unlucky. Baby Brelam got unlucky with the order the cards came out, but still had fun. That's a testament to this setup. Like a Knight and Elizabeth said, that dragged on a little bit, but still had a lot of fun with it. D-Rep and Shuttlebat said they don't want to leave an out-of-pocket statement. Thanks for another great season. I wish you left a comment. I want to know how you thought of it. These guys do stream their games, so you can go check out their game if you want to see this one played. J Master said, this one took Big Brain just to remember everything. Luckily, I was about to take out the God Emperor due to having just enough attack. -1, but I had Zola to knock him down a peg. Great. Dre said, what an incredible game. At first, I almost gave up because there were so many early escapes, but the Gamoras ramped up pretty quick and the city became more manageable with Black Swans rare. Great choices. Letting me control the villain deck pretty well. I managed to use Gamora's infinite attack on the God Emperor, and then the last villain to come hang out next to Ego before I finished him off was Ego from Rival Overlords. I read that and I laughed. That's very, very funny. Broken Pants had a bit of a struggle bus game. And Jiggly's Puff said, really great choice of villain sets. I love the chance of Ego and all the Ascending Masterminds getting nuked by a 7th twist. Yes, that was also part of it. It's a fun thought experiment to think, should I just let Twist 7 happen and everything gets KO'd? But it's a big risk because Twist 8 could be right next to it, but without you being able to take out the God Emperor. So a lot of escapes, but people still had a lot of fun. 5 out of 5s with these escapes. Very fun setup. Challenging yet super interesting, said KB Driven. Black Swan worked out for them as well. Player 1 used Gamora, Mantis, and Cap for a ranged instinct covert engine, and was drawing the full deck during the last 3 turns. And CG Lid and Polank said, fun game to wrap the tournament on. 2 very different playthroughs, which also I've seen contributes to the fun level, even if they're both good, but they're different, that's bonus points. Just based on the luck of the draw on the villain deck. Lots of masterminds in play by turn 5, 3 masterminds. Good synergy for Mantis, the Captain and the Devil, and Gamora. Beast and Killmonger were an awesome combo as expected. That's a cool combo you generated together. So yeah, I highly recommend you play this one if you don't have these sets. You can substitute some things out. But this is tied for 2nd place. Let's do... I got more stuff to give away. We'll jump back in. I'm going to give away some more promos. So I have some Daredevils. The Man Without Fear. These are from Organized Play Kit 2. Dark City. Oh, this is the 10th anniversary one. I'll come back to 10th anniversary in a second. It's the same. It's identical, just from Organized Play Kit 2. So let me go ahead and give out these. I have 3 of them to give away. Let's pop the wheel up in a moment and do that. 3 Daredevils. Let's see who's gonna get this one. Yeeches. Yeeches, one of the shiny Daredevils. Let's do another one. Who's getting a shiny Daredevil? Montax. A shiny Daredevil for you. And finally, we have J-Master. 1324. Shiny Daredevils all around. I also have... Oh, I have 3 more sets to give away. Let's do this one. Let's do this set. Another one from Upper Deck. By the way, you don't have to be here to win a set, but if you are, it's fun to watch and see what happens. I have the most recent set to release. That's right. Weapon X. By the way, I love how wheelofnames.com lets me automatically do the color scheme of the picture for the wheel. It looks super cool. If you haven't played Weapon X, it's a ton of fun. We just saw Omega Red, who's a very tough mastermind, but there's a lot of other fun stuff in there too. Weapon X sequence is a fan favorite for a new keyword, and I love the heroes that are in it. We finally got Phantom X. He's our hero of the day, by the way. Let's go ahead and see who wins this copy from Upper Deck of Weapon X, the most recent set. This one is going to... Alright, so Shandi won the small box of his choice, so you can still pick Weapon X from a Sharknado, but let's see if we spin again. I didn't remove all the names manually, so... Alright, that's a name that we haven't rolled yet. So Trev John, you win a copy of Weapon X. Congrats. That's awesome. Okay, let's do another special award here. Let's do 2 of them, because I'm running out of time. What's next? Let's do 2 of these. And then we'll finish the last 2 at the end. And then we'll be done. What should we do? We got Ultimate Collector, we got Most Efficient, Best Shield Op, and Mastermind's Punching Bag. You're welcome. Just DM me and I'll get you where you need to go. Alright, looks like it's going to be... Broken Pan says, Mastermind's Punching Bag. This is a fun one because... I gotta scroll down because there's a 3-way tie for 4th. This one is not really anything of your control. This is kind of how the shuffle went, but it's just fun to see who got repeatedly beaten down by the Mastermind. We got a 1st and a 4th 3-way tie. So at the bottom, basically our overall 2nd place, really. Mastermind's Punching Bag is D-Rob and Shadow of the Bat, Doormat, and Corey G. D-Rob, Doormat, and Corey G suffered the 2nd most Master Strikes, or the 4th most, I suppose, with 30 Master Strikes played in all submitted games for the entire event. So there you go. And 1st place, the players that altogether got hit the hardest by the Master Strikes. If you felt like you're hitting a lot of Master Strikes and you're on this list, this is why. So we had, you're welcome, the Poach Ninja, Mikey Gill, and Jay Pilger, all with 32 Master Strikes played. By the way, yeah, 32 Master Strikes played over the course of the entire event, which is rough. That is an average of 4.6 Master Strikes played per game. So you almost played all the Master Strikes every single game, which is wild. Longer games are going to contribute to this, but also it could just be an unfortunate shuffle. So, well done. Jay Pilger, Mikey Gillen, and Poach Ninja, you are the most punchiest punching bag by the Masterminds this game. And let's do one more. Which other one should we reveal right now? Ultimate Collector, Most Efficient, or Best Shield Op? And then we'll jump back into our other tie for 2nd place, most fun setup. We got, yeah, Best Shield Op is going to be interesting. I think you might know who's going to win that one. So if I don't hear anything, I'm going to do that one. Let's go with Best Shield Op here. So most heroes sent undercover. Now this is also based on how many shield heroes you got to use. And yeah, I knew it. I knew I was getting bullied by the Masterminds. Yeah, it was happening. You broke it past loot points per turn at the very end. I think these are 2 to look at together. So yeah, depending on your setup, who had shield, also how many shield officers did you recruit to get those special ones. All right, I want you to think in your head about the number. How many heroes do you think were sent undercover by the top 5? Get a number in your head before I reveal these. The 5th best shield op in this game was, I'm clicking in the wrong place, was Blushing Ether and Silver Fox, who sent a total of 40 heroes undercover across all of their games in the tournament. Well done there. 4th place, 4th best shield op was Corey G, with 46 heroes sent undercover this tournament. Third place, third best shield op of the entire tournament was Swagos with a whopping 64 heroes sent undercover. That is a lot of undercover recruiting, a lot of undercover work. Second place, most heroes sent undercover. It's even more than that. The second most heroes sent undercover in this tournament were Waffle Wings and Patchin with 71 total heroes sent undercover. And the first place, the absolute most heroes sent undercover, and I know why this is, was Citizen 51 with 132 heroes undercover. And if you didn't catch this, this is because he had a game with Ghost Rider 2099 and Yelena Belova, who was able to use that combination to do an infinite and send every single hero in the hero deck undercover. Because what you can do is, Ghost Rider has, you may send this and another hero from the HQ undercover, and then Yelena has, you may dodge this to unleash a hero from undercover. So repeating that over and over lets you do that combo until all the heroes are sent undercover. And that was amazing that he was able to pull that off. and that was great. So yeah, 132 heroes, absolutely the best shield op, but probably sent a little more recruits that shield couldn't handle, even things that shield didn't want. That way, sending everybody undercover that way. So that's fun, but well done everybody. Getting a lot of that bonus VP from all that undercover. We'll do the Ultimate Collector, the most efficient, in just a little bit. Let's talk about the other setup that tied for second best of the tournament. It is If You Can't Beat 'Em, which I think is one of my weaker titles. It references Quantumania, but I couldn't think of anything better. The mastermind was Kang Quantum Conqueror. The scheme was transform computers into giant ants. Got an incredible 4.6 for Pod 78. Now, I know this scheme is highly rated. I've been trying to use it the entire tournament, but I really wanted to use it with Ant Army, and I finally got to do that. Kang Quantum Conqueror is still a relatively new mastermind. He's a lot of fun with his transforming side. Not a lot of people like him. I should say that he's controversial. A lot of people really like him, but some don't. I was curious how that would work. But I also threw in Monsters Unleashed for some size changing, along with Quantum size changing, and they are a very popular villain group as well. And then I gave you 3 heroes that work pretty well together from different sets. Ant Army, Viv Vision, and Wasp. They all have some level of size changing, which works with Antics, which works with what Wasp is trying to do. Viv Vision's cheering crowds helps with the giant ants. And that was my philosophy in putting this together, and it looks like it worked out. The lowest rating was 4 out of 5 on this. And Flip Flop said there was a lot to keep track of, but it kind of worked well together, making it feel like a real multiverse, because there were a lot of places to potentially direct attacks. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I put the Fallen as the timeline variant, and that was on purpose. Right? Is that what I did for this one? Fallen, because they would enter the city and then immediately go to Haunt, which with these cheap, with the size changing, making that a little tougher, I wanted to make that challenge. Wasp and Nova worked especially well together on the comic side, and the MCU side felt like tech and strength. Mr. Dollar and Squishy Fish said, the second game got out of hand with card draw and giant ego, thank God for sidekicks. Yes, sidekicks being available, I'm sure, was a contributing factor. Stigmatic Oracle said, lots of fun with this one. Bystanders are usually are, and there were enough special ones to make it even more fun with lots of tech. J-Dub got destroyed in Game 1, only used MCU characters, but changed his heroes for Game 2, and it was a totally different story. Kang was an interesting mastermind to fight. I don't feel like he did much once I was able to get established, but he was very difficult early in the game when you're working your way up. Evil Space Cow said, was really fun using science changing and rescuing civilians. J. Twintart said the setup was great. Neurolicious Oscar said, we hate rating things a 5 because it would have to be perfect, but we gave this a 5, especially due to having 52 attack on the final turn. Having the multiverse and the ambush scheme made it for a lot of fun. We had cheering crowds, which got us some bystanders, but helped us to keep the city clear. High praise there. KB Driven said, great setup with lots of fun, with size changing everywhere, and pretty consistently being able to get the rares for each of the heroes. Sandals and Mrs. Sandals said, I always love playing against Kang. He's a lot of fun, and pairing him with a bystander heavy setup and lots of size changing made for a great game. That's high praise as well. I'm glad that worked off. Ebernicus said, what an absolute blast. I think this is one of the most positive comments of the entire tournament. What an absolute blast. Game 1 went fine with a win on turn 29, going tech range on one side and strength on the other, and I was planning on kind of copying that strategy because it worked great the first time. And man, the one side running tech popped off big time. This left the other side in the dust, but the turns on tech side went crazy. I haven't had another setup that I enjoyed as much as this one in a long time. Definitely give this one a try. You have to have Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp to make this work, but if you pick that up, try If You Can't Beat 'Em. That's super high praise for this setup. All right, all that's left is the #1 setup for the entire tournament. Let's do a couple more giveaways, some big ones here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more things. All right, let's go with the promo. I have one of these. This is not an organized play kit promo. This is a LPC 21. It is Zombie Venom. This is a black and white version of the Zombie Venom from the Deadlands villain group. I'm going to be giving this away to anybody who played all 7 weeks of the tournament and hasn't won anything yet. I have one of these to give to you. I'm paying this one forward from Upper Deck, who was very kind to send it to me. It's a very cool promo. Please contact me if you get this spin for you. All right, here's the wheel. Who's going to get the Zombie Venom promo? It's really, really cool. Thank you all for playing. 7 weeks is a lot to fully participate in the tournament, so I appreciate you all that were able to make it all the way through. Least I can do. All right, so the Zombie Venom is going to Mumu Kitty and Marsupial. Mumu Kitty and Marsupial. Get that Zombie Venom promo. Congratulations there. And let's do one more set. Yeah, before we look at our last setup. This is another, believe it or not, another copy of the What If core set from Upper Deck. Here we go. The What If core set is so much fun. It raises the stakes for what a core set should be. And let's see, again, Upper Deck, thank you for volunteering to send this out to somebody for participating in our tournament. Here we go. Who's getting the other What If core set? Let's see. Oh, so Blade Omicron already won. This is the 3rd time you've come up, Blade Omicron. Stop it. Let's spin again. Yeah, you have a lucky day today. All right, I think, yep. You already won Guardian, so we're moving you. A lot of suspense here. We got to pick a winner who hasn't won anything yet today. I think we just have it. All right, Owen Meany, Owen's better half have won the copy of Upper Deck's copy of What If. So congratulations on that. I got a couple more things to give away. I have 1 and I have 2. Yep. So we'll come back to that in a little bit after we look at this. Let's do our final awards here. Look at our final #1 setup and talk about that one. And we'll give away the last 2 things I have to give away, which are probably the biggest prizes I have right now. Okay, so let's start with the Ultimate Collector. These people just got the most VP, just straight up. This is of everybody who played the tournament. I added up all your successful attempts. Who got the most VP by way of defeating masterminds or villains or undercover or whatever, getting bystanders? The 5th Ultimate Collector, 5th most Ultimate Collector in this 2025 spring tournament was Travjon with a total of 683 VP across all submitted games. That is a lot of VP. It's a lot of cards in your victory pile. 4th place Ultimate Collector was J-Dub with 697 total VP. 3rd place goes to Real Danelle with 714 VP. Our 2nd most Ultimate Collector in this tournament got more VP than almost anybody in the tournament was Bronson and Lighthouse with 730 total VP. It's a lot of VP. And the 1st Ultimate Collector, the person who got more VP in total than anybody else in any of the 150 plus tournament participants, was Forever 18 and Son with a whopping total of 737 VP in their games. Again, it does depend on how much VP was available. We had one Mojo setup that really helped a lot of people, but still, that was 1 week of all 7. 737, well done there. And let's look at the most efficient. This is the highest average points per turn. Highest average points per turn. So I added up all your points per turn from all of the setups you submitted. I averaged them out. These people, this is probably the closest thing that we have on this list that coordinates to skill. You had very skilled setups. You know how to make every turn worth it. So let's see how you did here. The 5th most efficient player in the tournament was Booyah and Dia Stern with an average of 3.622 points per turn for all 7 games. 4th place, the 4th most efficient player in the tournament, was Doomfollow with 3.633 points per turn. Think about all the villains and henchmen that could come out, all the times you have a strike or a twist. Does depend on the setup, but this is averaged out. Third place for average points per turn was Real Dad L with 3.681 points per turn across all setups. Second place goes to Micro Disney 0505 with a whopping 3.769 points per turn on average. And the most efficient player out of all players in the tournament was Citizen51 with 4.132 points per turn. That sending all the heroes undercover really helped with that points per turn count with that combo, because what was that, like 100 points for that turn exactly? So well done, everybody, and thanks for playing. I hope you enjoyed these fun little extra awards for how things went. I'll post these publicly in a little bit, and congrats on that. You can write yourself a little sticker and wear that all day, that you were the most efficient player, the speediest speedster in the tournament. All right, now we're going to go ahead and look at the top setup of the entire tournament and then give away the last couple of things I have to give away. The number one most fun setup of the entire tournament, out of all 95 setups, this one was the most fun. And this is a setup I did not expect to be the most fun. It is one I built, but I was surprised. It got a incredible rating, 4.70. It is caught red-handed. Probably one of my weaker titles, to be honest. And it's the Red King. I didn't expect the Red King to be in the most fun setup of the entire tournament. I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you think it was the most fun setup, but let me talk about it. So I built this because I needed to put the Red King in a setup. I had World War Hulk here. I didn't use a lot of World War Hulk masterminds. I didn't want to use the Illuminati at this point in Pod 67. The Red King doesn't let you fight him on one side if there's villains in the city, and that's rough. People don't like him. But I also used Higher Singularity Investigations 2, which is a veiled scheme. But this is the most fun veiled scheme, I believe. It puts a lot of villains in the city and a lot of investigate. It lets you do some cool things when you fight them. I thought this is going to be more of an unpopular combo, because adding extra villains in the city is not what you want with the Red King, because that just makes him harder to defeat. I did give you Sinister Six, which is not a tough villain group. I did give you Magia Goons. And again, this is a limited set. It uses World War Hulk, Messiah Complex, Paint the Town Red, and Dark City. However, in the hero deck, I gave you Amadeus Cho, and he's probably going to end up as one of the strongest and most popular heroes at the end of the entire hero tier list rating. We got No Name Brood Queen, who's got some feasting, which works great with Investigate. She already lets you look at the top card of your deck before you feast. And Siren, who can shatter things, shatter a lot of heroes. And so I wasn't sure how this was going to go. I gave you some good seeds here. The scheme's fun. I didn't know who was going to unveil it. I won't talk about what the unveiled scheme is, but you'll find out if you look very closely. But if you want to play this, try not to pay attention to that. And let's look at the comments. So Gamer Gump and Candy Crow said, this is a deceptively hard setup. That's what I thought. Didn't expect it to be that fun. The scheme pulling out 6 attack villains was hard to deal with early game. Then you get to the end game and you get even more of the city full. All with a mastermind that can't be hit half the time when the city is occupied. But still gave it a 4 out of 5. Didn't really say why, but they had fun. Mickey P and Taker13 said, the first game was harder with not being able to hit him due to so many villains being in the city. Second game just happened to get the right cards out was fun. Okay, so right card, that's a clue. Zombie Gamer said, I thought the investigators were interesting, although tough to fight. They allowed rifts to open by the time they dropped my 5th scheme twist. The Red King had lost all 4 tactics. So, and here's the spoiler. I mostly shuffled Clan Yoshida into the deck as a formality. That was the unveiled scheme. I never had to deal with the Chivalrous Duel. I thought giving you a Chivalrous Duel at the end would be better than giving it at the beginning. But check this out. Ended up with very lean, mean decks with all the KOs and feast KOs. So I was able to pop off several 2-cost card combos. Simon's Tactical Formation 2-4-6 a couple of times, and outwitted with Amadeus Cho most turns. Good game overall. I never really panicked because nothing made it onto the bridge. Good point. The KOs of No Name and the Magia Goons really help thin the deck, and that contributes to the fun. Great setup, can be very swingy. All 5 out of 5s over here. Banner was a great charge. Forbed helped out. Ended up swimming in wounds, but still had fun. This is like a oxymoron of a setup. People say hard to hit him, stuff in the city, a lot of wounds. 5 out of 5. Very interesting. Imperious Rex used Hulkbuster, Iron Man, and Amadeus, plus Domino. I had so much card drawn attack once I was able to transform Amadeus cards. The only thing that would have stopped me was at that point the last twist. Local KLC Golf said, fun scheme. Iceman and Jean Grey are stupid good together. That is true. CRD 1680 said, one deck focused on covert, got thin enough to draw the deck every round by the end, which is always a fun thing to do. Other deck had everything else, which was great for Amadeus Cho. Super easy to outwit. Winged Crusader said, lots of time and space to get things going. Cool. Event Horizon said, both games were lasting 26 turns with different paths. Used Symbiote Spider-Man had a lot of fun. And then Black Knight said, D-Rob something for Black Knight. It was actually D-Rob. Setup felt hard at first, but getting player one's deck down to 6 card with 18 attack made the end of the game smooth and easy. Alright. So despite all the villains in the city, despite not being able to fight the Red King, despite the wounds gain, and despite the nature of not knowing what the end game is going to be in the unveiled scheme, it was all about the KOs. It was all about the thin decks, and that kind of overrode everything else. Also, the Investigate being fun. So that goes to show you the power of KO in this game. It made this setup the most fun of the entire thing. So give this one a try. These 4 sets are sets people are more likely to have than the MCU sets, so I'm sure most of you listening to this have it. Give this one a try and let me know in the comments of this video, once it's posted, how you think that went. And that's it. I'm going to be posting this entire list of all the setups in the entire game sorted by fun level, so you can check this on your own. And thank you for going through these with me. I have a couple more things to give away before I end the stream. Let's start with the promo. No, let's do this. Let's do the set. So Upper Deck is giving away a set that's out of print right now. And that's really, really exciting. And the set they're giving away is one of my favorite sets of all time. And it's a set that we just talked about. That is going to be World War Hulk. And because it's a green screen and some of these are green, they look clear in the back. So just ignore that. But yeah, we got a set, World War Hulk set to give away. Green screen, Hulk does not like green screen. This is one of my favorite sets. It is currently out of print. And it is going to somebody who doesn't have it, and that makes me very happy. Let's go ahead and see who's winning this copy of World War Hulk. Again, I'll spin again if you already won something. Actually, let me just take a moment to remove those names so we don't have to do that. We had a lot of people on this list already win stuff. So let's see who's left. So this person won something. Do you guys like the World War Hulk set? I certainly do. I think it's a ton of fun. Yeah, a lot of people on this list already won stuff. So delete, delete, delete. Delete. A lot of names going away just like that. I know you would. All right, I think I got everybody's name. I apologize if I missed anybody. Let's pop this back up. Transform is so much fun. All right, let's use winning this copy. All right. Gunther Gunn has won the copy of World War Hulk from Upper Deck. Congratulations on that, and I hope you like it. Finally, I have one last giveaway to do, and then I'm ending the stream because I got things to do. But let me go ahead and show you what it's going to be. This is my last giveaway of the day. It is a Dormammu. He's come to bargain. This is a legendary 10th anniversary Dormammu Mastermind from Gen Con 2022. It's shiny gold. You can't really tell here in the still, but it looks really, really cool in person with that extra shiny gold, and you can just use it in place of your regular Mastermind. I'm giving away one of these to one lucky person who has completed all 7 weeks of the tournament. And that's going to be it for this this giveaway and stream. All right, for the win. Again, I have to spin again if you already got something. I'm not going to go through this entire list, but we'll see. Who is going to get that copy of Dormammu 10th Anniversary? Doormat! Doormat is the big winner of the Dormammu. Doormat, I've come to bargain. There you go. You get the 10th Anniversary Dormammu promo. And that is it for this entire review. Exactly. That is it for the entire review. We gave away a ton of stuff. We went through everything. Dormammu. Thank you all for participating in the tournament. Again, please take a moment to fill out that tournament survey if you haven't gotten a chance to do that yet. It makes a big difference. I'm going to be following up in the Discord, posting some questions that go up in that survey and seeing what you think. And I'm glad you guys had fun. Please stay tuned. Have a great rest of the spring and into summer. And you'll get news on more stuff coming up in the future. You guys are all amazing. You're very, very welcome. I do want to post a video on how I build setups. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Thank you guys for coming by. All right, I will see you guys next week. I have some solo games to play, of course, for the month of June. I need to get to those. You all take care. I'll see you in Discord. Thanks for playing.